G'day, I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kevin. And
welcome to Hidden Acres Homestead. Today we'll be doing a beekeeping video.
Yes, we're going to be doing small hive beetle control. We're going to do 4 or 5 different ways of doing it. So we've got the Beetle Buster, bottom boards. We've got the Apithor traps. We've got the oil traps that you put in the top. And we're going to be trying some chux cloth in the top that I've tried before with some success. All right, thank you. Come join us.
So we're going to be comparing all of these methods and we will be showing you the results in the future. So this is step 1 or video 1 of this experiment.
All right, so for our external trap, we're going to be making a recipe that I found on YouTube. Uses these EnviroSafe fly traps that you can just get at your local hardware, Bunnings, anywhere like that. So we're not actually going to be using the fly bait that they give you. We can take the instructions away. So this is all we're going to be using. And the recipe calls for a teaspoon of yeast. This is just everyday yeast that you get at the supermarket. So we're just going to mix it in the bottle. So that looks about right, eh? Alright, calls for a tablespoon of sugar. We're just using caster sugar, doesn't have to be. Dump a pile of that in there. It also calls for a tablespoon of honey. This is ours that we harvested a while ago. What do you reckon, Jasmine, about that? Alright, and it calls for 250 mils of water. So, being a 600 ml bottle, we'll call it about there. Okay, we're going to mix it all up. That yeast is going to activate and start fermenting and all that wonderful stuff, and apparently the hive beetles love it. Okay, then we screw the lid on, and they say to hang that in a tree a bit away from the hives, 20-30 meters, and the beetles should be able to enter through this hole and drown in the liquid. We're going to make 2 for this experiment. Put one out the front and probably one out the back, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's our 2 traps ready to go. We're going to hang them up very shortly. We are also going to try the chux cloth method. We'll do that. Basically, we just lay that in the top of the hive. The small hive beetles have little hooks on their legs that get caught in the chux and traps them, so we're going to try that. And we're going to put some new DE, which is your diatomaceous earth, in the bottom of the Beetle Buster bottom boards that we've got, because this lovely weather we've got, it rains and it sets hard, so we're going to replace that. And we can keep an eye on beetle numbers in following videos. So we got the Apithor trap. It traps the beetles inside, and it has a poison inside. The second style we're going to be using is the more common. It's a oil trap. It goes up the top of your hive. You put a bit of oil in the bottom. The beetles go down the holes to get away from the bees, get trapped in the oil and drown. So we're going to be trialling these. Go on top of the frames. These ones we're going to be putting at the bottom of the hives. We're going to run one of each in each hive and see what happens. So these traps are designed that the bees can't actually get to where the poison is, and they're all approved for use in beehives and everything like that. The small hive beetles are real bad. They destroy your hives. You'll see here, this second one along has been absolutely decimated by small hive beetles. Destroys them. So we're trying to save as many hives as we can by doing what we're doing today. You can see a small hive beetle here. Okay, when you take your queen excluder off, you always keep it facing the way it was. We're going to get rid of this stuff. So we've got a nice flat surface for it to sit on. We're just going to place it in the middle there, nice and flat. And we're going to replace our hive back on top. Turn our queen excluder. Place our honey box back on top. Then we're going to get one of our oil traps. We're going to put just a little bit of oil down in the trap, just like so. And you want to make sure these traps go in nice and flat, like that. And we're going to put our lid back on. That's one hive done. This one's only a single, so it's going to be the same process, only we don't have to take a honey super off the top. Again, plenty of beetles. We're going to smoke the bees out of the way. Don't want to kill any. Okay, now oil trap. Once again, we're going to push it down nice and tight. Put our lid back on.
So is there any rhyme or reason as to which slot you're putting that trap in?
Just one that looks clean and I can get it down nice and flat. Okay, we're just going to go through the hives that we went through the other day. We've put Apithor traps in, we've put oil traps in. Now we're going to place a bit of chux cloth up the top. So these will have 3 different ways of catching beetles, so hopefully we can control them. Give them a bit of smoke. It's always a good way to control a beetle. Okay. If you look in the lid, there's a few beetles getting around. We'll just squash as many as we can. Let's have a look at our oil trap and see if we've got any yet. Oh, look at that. And that's only been overnight. And we've already caught some beetles. So all we're going to do with this hive, we've got the Apithor trap in the bottom, the oil trap in the top, and we are also going to place a bit of chux We're going to let the tail of it hang out the back so we can see where it is. And then we're going to just replace the lid. That's all we're doing with this first hive. Lock him down nice and neat. This second hive we lost to Hive Beetle. So this is diatomaceous earth. It looks just like a white powder. It apparently kills the beetles. So we're going to replace the stuff that we've got in the trays here, because as you can see, it's kind of gone yuck. So we're just going to dump that, scrape it off. Plastic off that we did last time might make it a bit easier. Look at that.
Like new.
Yep. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take some of this and sprinkle it around. And then just slide the tray back in underneath. And we'll check it next time to see how many we got. Let's check this one. Oh, it's another nasty looking one. Okay, all we've got left to do now is hang our bottle traps out of the trees and we'll see what happens. It's been probably 45 minutes since we've made it. You can see that it's all foamed up. We just had a beetle on the outside, so hopefully they work. Alright, we need to put them up somewhere where the cows can't get to them and knock them over, so we've got a little branch here. We can maybe try and hook one onto. There we go, we'll try that.
So this is where we've got our bees here with this beautiful valley view. And if you look down to the side here, we have a little paddock. In the future we'll be turning it into a pumpkin patch and other vine creeping vegetables and fruits that like to cover the ground, like watermelon, rock melon, pumpkins, etc, etc. So it'll be good. And then just behind that, in amongst this tree line, there is a beautiful crystal clear stream. It's seasonal. There's about 8 to 10 weeks of the year where the water runs out. But right now we've had a fair bit of rain, so all the water's lifted. You can see Kevin all the way over there finding a tree to hang up the other hive beetle trap. So this here is the last hive we're going to do today. It is one hive with 2 supers on top, and as you can see down the bottom it's got a Beetle Buster Base there. And we will be removing the honey from the top 2 supers and then putting this hive back down to 1 super. Our goal is at the moment to have 1 super on each hive. So the nukes need to get built up to a 10 frame, and then once they build up in the 10 frame they'll get a super as well. And as you can see, we do have a number of just brood boxes at the moment, and as they build up we will give them beetle supers as well. This is what Kevin transports the honey in. So the frames will get put into this, then we'll take the frames back to Dysart, and we will use our manual 3-frame spinner to spin the honey out. So here's an interesting question for all of our viewers. How many of you are allergic to bees? So Kevin's shaking the bees off to encourage them to stay here and not come back to Dysart with us, because that's basically a death sentence to them because they need to be with their hives. You know, I can't wait to find out the results of these hive beetle traps to see which one is the best. So stay tuned for an upcoming video. My bet is if you're watching this video, you can't wait for this next one too. So until next time, see you later, mate.